In this part of the lecture, we'll learn about the fund sources in an LBO leverage buyout deal. So in financing is a very important process in a company, especially for a company's growth, because it leads directly to investments, and it might be also needed for operational purposes as well. But especially in an LBO, in a leverage buyout, financing is such more important because we're using so much leverage for acquiring the target's equity stakes. So usually private equities use 20 to maybe 50%, so very low amounts from the total acquisition value. The rest would be funded by bank debts, subordinated debts, or mezzanine debts. Note that as we move to the bottom, risk increases, therefore the investor's required of return increases, and therefore from the company's perspective, financing costs also do increase. So let's look at bank debt first. So bank debt, in other words, senior debt, is one of the debts with the highest priorities. We have the revolver, we also have term loans, and sometimes there could be secured bonds. These types of loans or debts are usually secured by the company's assets or cash flows. And they're usually repaid over a period of 5 to 8 years. So there are amortizations to the original funding balance, which is slightly different to subordinated debts or ordinary mezzanine debts. Of course, there can be contracts where term loans or secured bonds also repay at maturity all at once, but I would say it is more usual to make amortization, so annual repayments of the principal. The revolver is a special type of bank debt, whereas if the company has a shortage of cash for a very short period of time and needs temporary cash injections, you go to the revolver, and usually during the deal period you set up a contract where you can instantly borrow money from the bank to a limited amount. So it works like an emergency cash source from the company's side. And when we're doing the LBO modeling, building a revolver is very important because when you're making a 5-year forecast, there will be some scenarios where the company does not make sufficient cash, or maybe in scenarios where mandatory repayment amounts exceeds company's cash inflows. In those cases, you might need to go to the revolver and lend some short-term cash. Usually 30 to 50% of the leverage buyout deal is financed by bank debt. It has the lowest risk, and because of that, usually the cost and the returns are the lowest. Of course, these percentages might vary by company, by industry, by country, or by a specific time period. In most cases, they are expressed in floating rates, which means they are interconnected with changes in the Fed rates or something similar to that. Next, we have the subordinated debts. So usually they are 15 to 25% of the total deal. Of course, there can be lower portions, but the main characteristics of subordinated debt is that they are junior in priority. So usually they are unsecured, and usually they have a longer period. So as opposed to 5 to 8 years for the senior debts, these debt tranches have longer years like 7 to 12 years or even more. And whereas senior debt usually has annual amortizations or annual mandatory repayments, subordinated debts often are repaid as a lump sum at maturity. And of course, they are generally less strict compared to senior debt in covenants, also in terms of collateral, cash flow priority, liquidation priority, everything. So they have higher risk, thus they require higher returns, and from the company's or the target's perspective, they require higher costs. In most cases, they are fixed to a certain rate. Another different point compared to senior debt. And lastly, we do have mezzanine debt. We turn to mezzanine debt when we still have more to finance. So when bank debt and subordinated debt is not sufficient enough. Of course, they are the most junior, excluding common equity, and usually, of course, they are unsecured. And sometimes they have characteristics between common equity and subordinated debt, things like preferred equity or convertible bonds. So they have both characteristics, or maybe in times they combine the two advantages of equity and debt, which gives a lot of advantages to the investors, especially because at this point the investment is very risky. So a small portion as a total, and of course the highest risk, leading to the highest required returns and highest cost. And of course, lastly, we have common equity.